Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of the lives of direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. We are now studying the life of Swami Swatmaramananda Maharaj, who was called Kokha or child because of his simplicity. Now, we were studying the aspect of Swami Swatmaramananda teaching the disciples about spirituality, the aspect of Guru. So now let us peep into that aspect of his life. Swami Swatmarananda's unassuming nature and plain clothing. Unassuming is again very simple. No ostentatious nature, no show off. Very simple, as simple as possible. And the way he used to dress plain clothing hid the fact that he was a great soul. So the great souls do not show from outside. But people who don't have real spirituality, they put on big and very costly attires, golden rudraksha, and many other external things to show off that they are spiritual. But a real spiritual man may be wearing a very ordinary cloth or the costliest cloth. So no thought of his will be there to show that he is great to the outer world. His thought is always immersed in God. And where is the time for all these things? His renunciation, Swatmaramanandaji's intense renunciation, simple, joyful face attracted devotees. In the monastery, he wore an ochre cloth, gerua or orange cloth, then a t-shirt and a pair of slippers, that's all. Then he would not allow anybody to do his personal work. He washed his own clothes and ate with other monks, the younger monks, on the floor of the dining room. Swami Swatmaramananda was reluctant to give spiritual instruction to devotees in the beginning. If anybody approached him for initiation, for mantra diksha, he would say, "What do I know about spiritual initiation? I'm just a kokha. I'm just a child. You go to Swami Brahmananda. They're all great souls. You go to them. Or to Holy Mother Sharda Devi. They're all highly spiritual." Now, one day, Holy Mother Sharda Devi told, "Why does Kokha not initiate people? Why is he not giving mantra diksha?" And Holy Mother Sharda Devi told, "As long as Sri Ramakrishna's disciples are alive, let the people receive their grace." Now, other than Holy Mother Sharda Devi telling Kokha Maharaj to initiate, he got a command from Sri Ramakrishna himself. One day, he received a command from the master to instruct people to give mantra diksha. So from then onwards, in 1915, Swami Swatmaramananda began to initiate devotees privately. Now, you may be knowing Swami Ranganathanandaji Maharaj. He was elected as the vice president of the order. He was a trustee. He was the head of Hyderabad Ramakrishna Mutt. Then he used to be going around the world giving talks on Vedanta. But when he was made the vice president of the order, just like our revered Gautamanandaji Maharaj, you should note that even revered Gautamanandaji Maharaj was inspired in the beginning from Ranganathanandaji Maharaj's works. Now, Ranganathanandaji Maharaj, when he became the vice president, he told that I'm not going to initiate the devotees, even though I'm the vice president. Then all were surprised. How can that be? You have become the guru. You have become the vice president of the order. You have to initiate. Then he told, I have not received the command. So it went on. Then after some years, he started initiate. He started giving mantra diksha to the devotees. Then I know he used to frequently come to Bangalore, where I was there, and revered Harshanandaji Maharaj was the head of that center. Revered Harshanandaji Maharaj asked him, Swamiji, you have started initiation now. Have you got the command? Yes, I have got it. He prayed and prayed and prayed. And when the Lord Ramakrishna or Holy Mother Sharda Devi instructed him, yes, you can, then only he started. Well, yes, I have got it. So you can see that parampara, the tradition going on. It's not so easy to initiate people. You think that you will give some mantra and you will take some dakshana and initiation is over. No. When you give that mantra, you have to take the sins of all the disciples and you have to share your spiritual powers, punya, to them. Now, Swami Subodhananda not only got instructions from Holy Mother Sharda Devi. She told once, Holy Mother Sharda Devi said, why does Kokha not initiate people, give mantra diksha? And also she told, as long as Sri Ramakrishna's disciples are alive, let the people receive their grace. And Subodhanandaji also received a command from the Master himself to instruct people. In 1915, Subodhananda began to initiate devotees privately. Once, in later years, some devotees from East Bengal, earlier, even before the British came, there was this big province called Bengal. The Bengal comes from the word Vangadesha. Then Vakara in Bengal becomes Bakara, Ba. So from Vanga, it became Banga. Then Bengal, in the mouth of the British Bengal. It is Vangadesh. It has become Banga, then Bengal. So there were 3 provinces in the northeastern part of India. They were called as, now the present Bihar and some other area, it's called Angadesh. Then Bengal and other areas are called Vangadesh. Then down the Orissa, that area is called Kalinga, Anga, Vanga, Kalinga. So like that, the whole of India was divided into such provinces. They all were united by Hinduism and the culture, Sanatana Dharma, but they had their own diversities. The way of dressing, the language, then the food, so many varieties, everything, culture, they're all different. But They were united by Hinduism, common cause, Hindu. So people tell that there is not a country, but the whole peninsula, that big mass of land, not only covering present day India, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, then on the north towards the Indonesia, Thailand, Japan, China, everywhere Hinduism was spread, Cambodia, Korea. So then Buddhism came over, took over. Then after that, forcibly over the sword, the Islamization, and due to the power conquering, the Christianity spread. But Hinduism still subsists, continuing in the country called India. So now they're all united by this culture. Though a lot of differences are there in food, in dress, the languages, the dialects. In each state itself, you can find so many different dialects and languages. But they're united by the Sanatana Dharma. And how many years? Do you think it was just 100 years, 200 years? This has been going for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. The British tried to divide India in the basis of North and South and different languages, tried to convert them to Christianity, tried to make them the slaves. Then before that, the Islamic rulers, the Mughals and other people, they tried to convert them with the sword. Nothing could happen. Still, Hinduism continues. Sanatana Dharma. It has its own strength, intrinsic strength. So, Vangadesha, Bengal. So now the British divided it into East Bengal and West Bengal. And later on, after the partition, some of the politicians divided the country on the basis of religion, and Bangladesh became a Muslim-ruled country. But then, during Subodhanandaji, during 1915, before the partition, it was all one, Akhanda Bharat. So, Subodhanandaji, once in later years, some devotees from East Bengal, one of the greatest of devotees, who is that? Our Nag Mahashay. He hailed from Bangladesh. So now some of the devotees from East Bengal came to Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj, another direct disciple who was the president of the order at that time, then the president of Ramakrishna order, and invited him to Dhaka. So Dhaka is the present capital of Bangladesh. We have more than 15 centers even now, even though it is an Islamic country. There are about 20 or 80% of Hindus there. They have been forcibly converted or chased away. Yet the Hindus live there. We have 16 or 17 ashramas there in Bangladesh. So Dhaka is the capital. So they invited Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj, who was the then president of the Ramakrishna order, to Dhaka. At that time, Swami Shivanandaji was not well. So he asked Swami Subodhananda to go to that place instead, in his place. But Subodhanandaji replied, "Oh no, I can't go there. There are so many big rivers in East Bengal. So just like Brahmaputra, so that it's a male river, Nada. It will be always in floods. In the rainy season, it changes the whole land. It floods and it will be converted into a river. It is very big and it will cause havoc. So, and many other tributaries, many other small rivers are there. So I can't go. You know that from the beginning. Subodhanandaji didn't know swimming, so he was very reluctant to travel in the water. And I told, like, oh no, I can't go there. There are many big rivers in East Bengal and I'm afraid to cross them. Knowing his simple nature, Swami Shivananda did not press him any further at that time. However, on 7th May 1924, Subodhananda went to dedicate the Ramakrishna temple at Sonar Gaon. Sona means gold, Gaon means village, Grama from Sanskrit word. Sonar Grama became Sonar Gaon. Dhaka, at the behest of near Dhaka, that place called Sonar Gaon, there was a Ramakrishna temple inaugurated. So to dedicate that, Swami Subodhanandaji went to Dhaka, to this village called Sonar Gaon, at the behest of Swami Shivanandaji. People of East Bengal, said Swami Shivananda, are greatly devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. Please, Subodh, please initiate them. Give them mantra diksha. Subodhanandaji obeyed and he initiated many people. Not only the elderly, he even initiated children. After returning to Belur Math, he informed Swami Shivanandaji that he had initiated one and all, including children, to which Swami Shivanandaji asked him, how will the children practice meditation and japa? He replied, Swamiji, you ordered me to initiate everybody, so I deprived none. So you may ask, what will happen to them? The children, they do not know, they cannot understand the mantra. But you are such a spiritual giant, or any gurus who have realized God, you know that until all the disciples get liberation, the guru cannot get liberation. He has to continue to strive until all his disciples get mukti. He has to stay there and see that they all get liberation, and then only he can get liberated. So the guru cannot get liberation until all his disciples. So not only he has to do the spiritual practice for himself, and he has got that, but he has to do spiritual practices for the welfare of the disciples too. So that is the position of the guru. It's not so easy. So he's telling, he gave even initiation to small children. Then how will they progress? The Swami will perform. The guru will perform the spiritual practices for them and lift them. He replied, you ordered me to initiate everybody, so I deprived none. Swami Subodhanandaji was extremely self-effacing, and he did not consider himself to be a guru. Once a woman disciple asked him, Swamiji, I don't know the Gayatri mantra or ritual or chanting. People practice the Gayatri mantra thrice, Trikala Sandhya. Morning, Brahmi Muhurta, then that is Pratha Sandhya, morning junction of the night to the day, and Madhyandina Sandhya, that is the daytime meeting or uniting with the evening, that is Madhyana, noontime. Then Sayam Sandhya, when the evening is meeting the night, that time is called Sayam Sandhya, Trikala Sandhya. So all the three times they do Gayatri Japa. So I see that people, they repeat Gayatri mantra. I do not know Gayatri mantra. People practice the Gayatri thrice a day. Could you teach me all those disciplines? The Sandhya Vandana. Subodhananda said humbly, Mother, I don't know all those things either. You see, I am a koka. I am a small child. I am a koka. I have given you the mantra diksha, the mantra, what I have received from the master. While initiating, all these great souls, they used to sit in meditation, even Swami Vivekananda. Then they would get the mantra in their mind or in the heart, or Ramakrishna would instruct them coming what mantra should be given to that person, the man or woman or the children, and then they would give that. So that was the height of spiritual power. It was not out of scholarship or learning the simple literal meaning, but it would flash, the mantra would come within. The Lord himself would give the mantra, and they used to give that. So in a simple way, Subodhananda ji is telling, Mother, I don't know all those things either. You see, I'm a koka, I'm a simple child. I have given you what I have received from the Master, what I have known from my own experience. The mantra and other things are revealed to me. It is not from the books, but all these mantra which I have given to my disciples, they have been revealed to me in my own experience, and what has kept me in a blissful state. So the simple thing you have to do in spiritual life is don't get complicated all those things. Whatever is necessary for you, I have given the best which Ramakrishna himself has given me in that meditation, or what I have known from my own experience, and what has kept me in a blissful state. What is the simple thing you have to do? Please control your mind and practice japa and meditation. That's more than enough. In 1925, Swami Subodhananda again went to East Bengal and gave initiation to many people, even outcasts who were uneducated, who were very poor, and who were kept out of the society. So they were the outcasts, the low caste people. So he even gave initiation to the outcasts. His affection for them was no less than his affection for the highly cultured people of the society. He used to have so much of compassion and sympathy and empathy towards the poor people, the outcasts, the low class people. So his affection and his service to those poor people, to the people of that lower caste or outcast, his affection for them was no less than his affection for the highly cultured people of the society. Once in Baliyati Ashrama, what happened? He gave a lecture for 10 minutes on Sri Ramakrishna and harmony of religions. He gave a lecture for 10 minutes. The subject was Sri Ramakrishna and harmony of religions in front of 1,000 people. He was very fond of sharing his thoughts and teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. He was fond of talking about the Master, and he taught people from his own experience. The simple thing he used to tell everybody, the spiritual instruction was, pray to God sincerely. Pray to God sincerely. Then you will see him. Sincere prayer means tell the Lord your pain and your problems with tears in your eyes. Open up your heart. That's what Subodhananda ji is telling. Pray to God sincerely. Then you will see him. What is sincerity? Sincere prayer means tell the Lord your pain and your problems with tears in your eyes. Ask God for faith and devotion. Always remember that you are a companion of Sri Ramakrishna's companion. That is, I am your companion. My companion is Sri Ramakrishna. So Ramakrishna is directly protecting you. Then that's why he's telling, tell the Lord your pain, all, share it with, don't hide anything from the Lord. and problems. That is sincerity with tears in your eyes. Ask him for faith, Shraddha, and bhakti, devotion. Shraddha bhakti. Please give me Shraddha bhakti. That's what we used to remember. Parents in the Purvashrama, in the pre-monastic life, they used to teach us from childhood. Pray to God, not for money, not for wealth, not for anything. Give us Shraddha bhakti, Vidya buddhi. So this is what from our childhood they used to teach us. We used to also just copy. Give us Shraddha bhakti, Vidya buddhi. We used to pray to God in that way because our parents taught in that fashion. So that is what we are taught. Not to ask for money, not to ask for food, not to ask the worldly joys, but to ask for devotion, bhakti, shraddha, vidya, buddhi. So that's what our parents and the elders used to teach us. So Subodhanandaji is telling, ask him, ask the Lord for faith and devotion, shraddha, bhakti. Always remember that you are a companion of Sri Ramakrishna's companion. Make your mind strong. When someone asked him how to control lust, kama, he replied, the more you go towards east, the farther you are from the west. Don't pay any attention to the lustful thoughts. Just move towards God. And after some days, you will see that the lust has unconsciously disappeared from your mind. Without the will of the Divine Mother, nothing will happen. Surrender to her. Out of mercy, she will remove your weakness and you will be freed from lust. These are all teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. You can see what are all the things given by these direct disciples are nothing but the teachings given to them. You know, in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and other records where Ramakrishna used to meet the people, it was all the common people, the householders, and many other common people, visitors used to come to the Kshineshwar during the holidays like weekends, Sunday, Saturday, and any other holidays. So at that time, the teacher, the professor or the teacher, Mahendranath Gupta used to come because he was a teacher, he had to work. You can't come on weekdays, so he used to come on the weekends. There would be a lot of people there, and whatever Ramakrishna used to tell the common mass, that has been recorded in the form of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. That itself is so great. But when the people who would become sannyasins or great sadhakas would come, would ask them to come on the weekdays when less people were there. And especially he used to like to ask them to come during Tuesday and Saturday, which was very auspicious to Divine Mother. He would be in very good mood and he used to give them instructions, spiritual instructions privately. So when he used to teach Narendra and all these direct disciples who were very great souls, he used to take them separately to the Panchavati or outside the room from the common grace of all the people there, gaze of all those people there, and then instruct privately. So where all those wonderful strong teachings have gone, you can see whatever these direct disciples like Subodhanandaji are instructing are directly from Ramakrishna himself. Nothing of theirs they gave. It was all Ramakrishna's instruction. So now you are getting that directly from the Avatar Purusha. Now Subodhanandaji is telling such simple things in spirituality. So one of the examples here, how to control lust. Kama is very, very strong. You will get those thoughts in a very intensive manner. How to control it? So Ramakrishna used to tell, don't worry about it. He used to give this example. That is what Subodhanandaji is telling here. What is that? Suppose you don't like South Pole. Okay, what will you do? Because you don't like South Pole, you'll go on pushing the South Pole with your legs. Go away, South Pole, I don't like you. Then what happens? You are becoming more nearer and nearer to the South Pole. So if you go on thinking of lustful thoughts and tell that I want to remove it, I want to remove it. You're always meditating on that lust or lustful thoughts. So you are making it more. You are increasing that. So don't give credence, don't give importance, or don't give your mind to these silly things, the bad things, the negative things. Then what are we supposed to do? Suppose you don't like South Pole. Instead of pushing it with your leg, go away South Pole, get up and start walking towards the North Pole. Then automatically the South Pole is left behind. If you start walking towards North Pole, automatically the South Pole will be left behind. Likewise, we don't like all these negative thoughts like lust, greed, ego, and the other enemies which are within, lurking within the six enemies, Arishad Varga, Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsarya, Lobha, Moha. So what will you do? Walk towards God, and automatically all these things will be left behind. If you walk towards North Pole, just like the South Pole will be left behind. If you walk towards God, if you go towards God, then God is so strong that all these things like lust and everything will go on reducing. The more you walk towards God, the more you go towards God, the less and less these negative things become. So Ramakrishna used to give that wonderful example. Now Subodhanandaji is telling the same thing. What is he telling? Don't pay attention to those lustful thoughts. When the devotee asked how to control, when someone asked him how to control lust, he replied, the more you go towards the east, the further you are from the west. Don't pay any attention to the lustful thoughts. Just move towards God. After some days, you will see that the lust has unconsciously disappeared from your mind. Without the will of the Divine Mother, that is God, nothing will happen in this world. Surrender to her, and out of mercy, she will remove your weakness and you will be freed from all those things. Lust, greed, pride, anger, all those things will go away from you. One day, Swami Subodhanandaji talked about the efficacy of japam. What is the strength? What will the good thing that will happen if you do japa? Efficacy, efficiency, efficacy of japa. So while talking about the efficacy of japa, Subodhanandaji is telling all power belongs to God. Whatever energy, whatever manifestation of power you see in this world, it all belongs to God. Nothing is there that doesn't belong to God here. All powers belong to God. If anyone repeats the mantra given by the Guru of God, if anyone repeats the mantra, he will definitely get the result. For instance, Subodhanandaji used to tell, for instance, when a farmer sows the seed, many of you will not be knowing farmers, or you have not even seen the seeds or the sowing of the seed. So when a farmer sows the seeds, it may be upside down, it may be sideways. So no matter when the farmer sows the seeds, no matter whether they are placed in the ground straight or upside down or sideways, what do the seeds do? They shoot up all the same. Whichever direction, whatever way you keep, flat or upside down or sideways, whatever way you place, this farmer places the seed inside the ground, but the nature of the sprout, the nature of the seed is to sprout upwards. It shoots up all the same. So likewise, the name of the God is so powerful. Do not worry about any other things. Just repeat the name of the Lord. It's so powerful. And whom does it belong to? It belongs to God. And God is everything. It is He who gives pain, and again He who gives peace. One can overcome, but one can overcome all obstacles. One can overcome all the obstacles in your life by repeating the mantra, the japa given by the Guru. Repeat that name because that name belongs to God, and God is all powerful and merciful. Then, whatever might be the obstacles, whatever might be the pain and difficulty, by doing japa, by repeating the name of the Lord, you can overcome all those obstacles repeating the mantra. Subodhanandaji Maharaj was a very moderate eater, used to eat very less. Once a devotee invited him to dine, and Subodhanandaji asked him when he went to the house, what was the menu? The devotee, he knew that Subodhanandaji was a moderate eater and he doesn't eat much, and he doesn't like too many costly things to be prepared. So just to hide it or tell him it was very simple, so that Subodhanandaji will not tell him, oh, remove all those dishes, don't make all those costly dishes. So he wanted to show it, it is very simple dish. So the devotee humbly said, what could we offer you? We are poor people, Swamiji. We have only arranged simple food, rice and dal, rice and lentil. Subodhanandaji went to the dining room and found that the devotee was actually serving various delicacies. But because he had to maintain the truth, he ate only rice and lentils because the devotee had told him, I have prepared only rice and lentils for you. So he ate only rice and lentils. In spite of the devotee's fervent request, he did not change his mind. He did not eat any other delicacy which was offered. Now Subodhanandaji said to him, my dear child, the master, Sri Ramakrishna, taught us that one should hold on to truth and keep his words. You have given the word that you will be serving me only rice and lentil. So I can't eat any other thing. I will take only rice and lentil. In the earlier days of Belur Math Monastery, Subodhananda, such a great soul who has realized everything, used to work in the garden, vegetable garden, used to till it, used to grow the vegetables with Swami, another direct disciple, Advaitananda. Swami Brahmananda was very fond of plants, trees, so used to collect it from various parts of the country, even from foreign countries, and he used to distribute it to all ashramas to grow all those things. Everywhere, wherever he went, Swami Brahmanandaji used to carry varieties of trees, the seeds of the trees, other plants, flowering plants, fruitful, the trees of the fruit, everything used to carry and used to distribute to different parts of India, the ashramas. So Brahmanandaji collected various kinds of fruit trees and flower plants from different parts of India, and he planted them in the monastery garden. Subodhanandaji was very much interested in growing vegetables and fruits. So Subodhanandaji used to make grafts, grafting, hybrid. So the good variety with the ordinary and the strong variety, they would be grafted and the tree would be yielding very good fruits. So that is, the process is called grafting. So Subodhanandaji used to make grafts of those trees and plants so that they could be preserved and planted in other places. Sometimes Subodhanandaji would go with Akhandanandaji to collect Nageshwara Champa. What is this Nageshwara Champa? There are so many flowers which gives intense fragrance, but Ramakrishna liked this flower. What is that? Nageshwara Champa, Champaka, Champaka Pushpa. Some places they are called Sampige, Champaka. So now Ramakrishna liked Nageshwar Champa flowers. And what is the scientific name? The botanical name? Michelia champaka, which was a favorite flower of Sri Ramakrishna. Now Subodhanandaji would also travel to raise funds for the Master's festival or to buy food for the monastery. He would nurse sick monks like a loving mother, used to cut vegetable and used to manage the kitchen. One day, wrote a monk, the bell was rung, but nobody came to cut the vegetables. So Kokha Maharaj, that is Subodhanandaji, therefore cut 5 kinds of vegetables for the master and asked the cook to offer those 5 items to him. He arranged to have rice, lentils and boiled potatoes and cooked for the monks. In the dining room, Swami Sharadanandaji was pleased to have this simple menu. Then he asked, "Have you not offered any vegetables to the master?" Kokha Maharaj replied, "Yes, 5 kinds of different vegetables were offered to the master. But today, since the monks did not come to cut the vegetables, I have arranged only that special vegetable to Ramakrishna in small quantity, and I arranged a simple menu for them, all of them." Immediately, Swami Sharadanandaji said in front of all the monks, "Tomorrow, I shall also come to cut the vegetables." This took care of all the problem. Belur Math was Subodhananda's favorite place. In his last years, he was reluctant to go anywhere outside Belur Math. Once when someone suggested that he go to health resort and recuperate from his illness, he said it is better to live on rice and spinach at Belur Math than to have good food somewhere and good health, because the spiritual vibrations of Belur Math are so high and the presence of Sri Ramakrishna is there. Swami Vivekananda resides there. Means even though they have given up the body, Vivekananda always resided in Belur Math. Ramakrishna was also there in Belur Math. So you may get costly things and good nutritious food and good weather outside. What is the use of that? I don't want to give up Belur Math because it's full of spirituality. It is better to live on rice and spinach at Belur Math than to have a good food somewhere else. Every day, even when Subodhanandaji was weak, he would walk with a cane to Vivekananda's temple at the southeast corner of the monastery. He told the monks, "The master, that is Ramakrishna, said Swamiji was Lord Shiva himself. To respect him is equivalent to worshipping Lord Shiva. To respect Swami Vivekananda is equivalent to worshipping Lord Shiva himself." Subodhanandaji's room was adjacent to Swami Vivekananda's bedroom. Every morning, he used to go to Swami Vivekananda's room and bow down to his portrait. A monk recalled his reminiscences of Kokha Maharaj. So that monk recalls telling that Kokha Maharaj was very easy of access and everybody felt very free with him. Many, on coming in contact with Kokha Maharaj, the Subodhananda would feel like his love so much that they would altogether forget the wide gulf of difference that marked their spiritual life and his. Yet, he made no conscious attempt to hide the spiritual height to which he belonged. This great unostentatiousness was part and parcel of his very being. It was remarkable that he could mix so freely with one and all Not only that, he could mix with people of all ages and denomination, and immediately he would make all of them his own. Many are the persons who, though not religiously minded, they were also drawn to him simply by his love and were afterwards spiritually benefited. Now, in the monastery, there were young brahmacharis who had joined recently, that is, novices. The young brahmacharis and also the monks of the order, they found in him a great sympathizer. He took the time to find out their difficulties, and he would help everyone and help them and advise them and guided them. And also he would be the mouthpiece before the elders, whatever they wanted. He used to be with them and support them and tell all their problem to the elders to be solved, mediate for them, and also shield them when they inadvertently did anything wrong. One day, a novice, a brahmacharin, committed a great mistake, and as a punishment, he was asked to leave outside the monastery and to get his food by begging. The food will not be given. You can't live in the Velur Mutt. You have to stay outside. You have to beg your food. That is the punishment, because he had committed a grave mistake. The brahmacharin failed to get anything by begging except a quantity of fried gram, and returned to the gate of the monastery in the evening. Wherever he went, he couldn't get any food. He got only little fried gram. So he came to the gate of the monastery in the evening, but he did not dare to enter the compound because he was punished because of his mistake. He was asked to leave outside and also on begging. Now Kokha Maharaj came to know about that. His plight, this young novice, the sad plight of this young novice. He interceded on his behalf, and because of that, the young member, the novice, was excused. The novices of the monastery had different kinds of work allotted to them. Often they did not know how to do it, but Kokha Maharaj was there to help them. He would guide them. Kokha Maharaj on such occasion would come forward to help them and guide them. So he was like a mother, always there for them. The Swami, that is Subodhanandaji, was self-reliant, but he would help others to do the work for others to the monastery. But what about his personal work? He would do it himself. He would be always standing on his own feet, would not be dependent upon anybody. That is the basics of Vedanta, self-dependency. The Swami was self-reliant and would not accept personal services from others. Suppose in our life, why should we help others, but why should we not take much service from others? The more service you take from others, seva, then you have to shell out your punya. It's automatic. The theory of karma is automatic. If you take service, I've seen many people, many devotees, they will take food, they will take coffee, tea, and they will not wash their cups or even clean that place. They'll be waiting for others. They do not know. They think that, oh, the laziness or their service of others, they will feel very happy. But you have to shell out your punya. If anybody serves you, if anybody does you any help, whether you tell thanks or show whatever this thing, your courtesy, but you have to give out your punya, your merit. Automatically, the moment anybody serves you, whether you want or not, your punya will go away. And I've seen so many people, their wives, the other women are working hard, and these people twirling their moustache or showing their pride, they would be sitting on the chair, shaking their legs. They don't go and work at all. So the more you get service from others, the more you are lazy, the more you have to shell out your punya, whatever little punya you have. Suppose you don't have the stock of punya, merit, then what happens? You have to take the sins of others. So do the work, seva to others, then you will get the benefit. The Lord will bless you. Seeing the Lord in everybody, in all the human beings, see God and serve them. But on the contrary, don't allow as much as possible. Yeah, sometimes, okay, it is, you have to take some service, but as much as possible, do your own work, do your own chores, whether cleaning the vessel or washing the clothes or anything, do your own work. Then you can save at least your punya. But on the contrary, you should help others, serve others, do the work. The more you give, the more you get. The more you get, the more you lose. So it is automatic. Nobody can stop it. The more you get service from others, the more punya you will be losing. How much of punya do you have? How much of japa and meditation are you performing? If you are performing a lot of meditation and japa and puja, then you will be accumulating. But you don't do japa. At the same time, you take the service. Then not only you are losing all your merits, punya, but also you'll be taking the papa of others. So I have seen people so joyfully, they will give the work to others. They don't do their personal work. They will not even clean the cups they have taken, the food they have taken, the coffee they have taken. Many times I see them, they will just keep and go away. And because I try to see the Lord in them, I will wash those cups or do their work. Nothing. From my side, I have the attitude that I have to see the Lord. But from their side, they'll be losing their punya. So they have to be very careful while taking the personal service on themselves. So you'll be losing your punya, or you may be gaining the papa, the sins. So what is Subodhanandaji showing us? Be self-reliant as much as possible until unless you are sick or you are helpless. Don't take service from others. The Swami was self-reliant and would not accept personal service from others. That is the reason. Even if they were devotees or disciples, whether they were made disciples, even then he would not take. He always emphasized that one should help oneself as far as possible. And he himself rigidly adhered to this principle in his daily life. Even during times of illness, even during his times of illness, he was reluctant to accept any service from others and avoided it until it became absolutely impossible for him to manage without it. Then only he would accept services. Otherwise, he would be helping others. He would be doing his own work. The Swami's needs were very few, and he was satisfied with anything that came unsought. He would not go in search of things, but if it comes by itself, then he would accept it as the grace of the Lord. So the Swami's needs were very, very few, and he was satisfied with anything simple that came unsought, because whatever comes unsought is the will of the Lord, and his personal belongings were absolutely necessary for him. His personal belongings were almost nil. His personal belongings were almost nil. He would not accept anything except what was absolutely necessary. In yoga, Raj Yoga, one of the vows in the Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, we get this aparigraha, non-acceptance of gift. So we are so happy. We also teach our younger ones, generation, to become happy when they accept the gift. Oh, somebody gives the gift, you will be so happy. But give the gift to others, accept less. Give the best to others, accept very less. Even to please somebody, you have to accept something. Give it to share it with others. be as simple as possible. So aparigraha, not accepting any gifts, that's a virtue. It's a vow we have to take place. We have to perform in during the yoga, especially in Raj Yoga. Everybody has to do that, aparigraha. So you will get a power out of it. And what is that? Siddhi. It's called Jatismara. Because of this non-acceptance of gift, you will get this called Jatismara, where you will remember what you were in all your lives, what you have taken 8.4 million lives, everything will be seen in front of you. Then you will get intense vairagya. Then you will go intensely towards God realization. So aparigraha, asteya, satya, asteya, aparigraha, all these are all the vows which we have to do in Raja Yoga. It's very, very important. So Swami Subodhanandaji, even in spite of, we have to do all these things before God realization. Even after God realization, you have got anything, everything, is to perform that. Why? Because you should set an example. Other people will be watching. Whatever they do, they will follow. Yad yad acharati shreshtaha tat tat devetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadannu vartate. These are the words of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Yad yad acharati shreshtaha. Whatever the elderly people perform, tat tat eva itare janaha. All the other younger ones or the people who have not gone forward in spiritual life, they will follow whatever the elders or the people who have gone forward in spiritual life perform. It's not the words, but the deeds they follow. Yad yad acharati shreshtaha tat tat evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurte lokas tadanu vartate. Then the world will follow them. That's why people of this stature, the saints, the good people of the world, they have to be always setting an example. They should be careful what they are doing, performing, because the other world will follow you. So even during times of illness, Subodhanandaji was reluctant to accept any service from others and avoided it until it became absolutely impossible for him to manage without it. The Swami's needs were very, very few. Simple living, high thinking. Their high thinking is thinking on God. Simple living. Why simple living? Only as much as you will take to maintain this body in a healthy way. Why? Why should you maintain this body in a healthy way? So that you can do the sadhana, realize God, do good to others. That's all. That is the only thing you have to maintain your body, not for your enjoyment, sensual pleasures. It is for serving others and serving God. So the Swami's needs were very few, and he was satisfied with anything that came unsought. His personal belongings were almost nil. So now there was one yogi or a monk who was living in his small hut. The only belonging was his a carpet to sleep, no pillow, no chair, nothing, no belongings, no watch, no mobile, simple. Then a Western person was visiting the ashrama. He saw his room, no belongings at all. He told, how can you survive? You don't have anything, no facilities. How can you survive with these things? How can you manage? So this Swami or the monk told that Westerner, my dear friend, where are your belongings? He told, I'm a traveler. I'm traveling, so how can I carry all my belongings? So I have minimized everything, very less. I'm a traveler. Then the monk replied, the yogi replied, so am I too. I'm also a traveler. I've come to this earth only for a few days to realize God. I'm also a traveler on this earth. So I have very less belongings. My main focus is God realization. So minimum of these things. I'm just a traveler, come here to realize God. So you are also a traveler, so you have minimum things. I'm also a very long traveler. So the travel is towards God realization. So minimum things, maximum thought of God. So likewise, Swami Subodhanandaji's personal belongings were almost nil. He would not accept anything except what was absolutely necessary for him. In food, as in other things, he made no distinction and he ate whatever came with equal relish. This great spirit of renunciation, always evidenced in his conduct, was the result of his complete dependence on God in personal conduct as well as in conversation. In personal conduct as well as in conversation, Subodhanandaji put much emphasis on self-surrender to God. Swami Vivekananda used to tell that wonderful teaching is there. Our goal is neither luxury nor austerity. Our goal in our life should be neither luxury nor austerity. Not too much giving up and austerity, not too much indulging in luxuries. Then what is our goal? Why are we doing all these austerities? The goal is God realization. Our goal is neither luxury nor austerity, but God realization. So, God realization was the center. So he put much emphasis, Subodhanandaji put much emphasis on self-surrender to God. Then automatically, all the others, things, whether luxury or things, food, clothes, became unimportant. Only as much to maintain this body, to be decent, a decent living, decent looking, that's all. But the rest, much emphasis was self-surrender to God, God realization. Subodhanandaji very often narrated to those who came to him for guidance the following story of Sridhara Swami. There was one Swami who gave up his household. His wife passed away when she gave birth to his son. So when even that young son was born and it was so young, he got so much of intense vairagya, renunciation. He gave up everything and became a famous Swami, Sridhara Swami. So, Swami Subodhanandaji, he very often narrated to those who came to him for guidance the following story of Sridhara Swami, the great Vaishnava saint and a commentator on the Bhagavad Gita. So, he has commented on the Bhagavad Gita. So, without any bias, whether Dvaita, Dvaita, or Vishishta Dvaita, whatever the message he is directly given it out in his commentary. So the Sridhara Swami's commentary, Sridhara Bhashya, is very popular. No bias, nothing towards any particular sects or anything. Whatever is there in Bhagavad Gita. So many people prefer this Sridhara Bhashya to read Bhagavad Gita. So this Swami, spurred by a spirit of renunciation, Sridhara Swami was thinking of giving up the world when his wife died giving birth to a child. The Sridhara felt worried about the baby. Now we thought, you want to give up the world, but the mother has died with this giving birth to this small child. Who will take care of the child? What shall I do if I now go away, renouncing this child? Then who will take care of it? What will happen to the child? When his wife died giving a birth to the child, Sridhara Swami felt worried about that baby and was seriously thinking about how to provide for the child before retiring from the world. One day, as he was absorbed with these thoughts, what happened? In those days, you see, there is the thatched hut or the tiled roof. So now there will be a lot of house lizards. Just like the garden lizards in India, in the houses you will find a lot of lizards because it is the hut. Even now in the good houses too, we find these lizards. They live with us. So now this one of the lizards had laid eggs, maybe on the beam, the wooden beam or so. So while moving about, by the touching of the tail or wagging of the tail or something, that egg, fully grown up egg, had fallen down. It fell down from the top of the roof. So while he was absorbed in this thought of how to provide for the baby, one day as he was sitting deeply absorbed with these thoughts, the egg of a lizard dropped from the roof in front of him. The egg broke because of the impact of the break. The egg broke. So as a result of the fall, now a young baby lizard came out of it because it was fully grown inside. As the egg fell, the young lizard, alive, it came out of it. What happened then? Just then, a very small fly came and stood near the young lizard. Now, immediately this lizard, it caught that young baby fly and swallowed in a moment. See, it is just born baby. Who taught it? It is now, it was in the egg. The egg fell down and this lizard came out, and immediately a small, not a big fly, because this baby cannot eat a big fly. Now a baby, a very small fly came and sat in front of it. Who has taught how to hunt and eat its food? So the lizard eat only the flies and mosquitoes. That is, the insects are their food. It eats nothing else. So now, who has trained it? And who bought that little? If it was big, you can't catch it. A very small lizard, it itself is a small baby lizard. And the small fly came in front of it and sat, which this small lizard, baby lizard, caught and swallowed in a moment. At this, now pensively, Sridhara Swami or Sridhara was thinking, how will I provide to my baby, his own child? At this, the thought flashed in the mind of Sridhara. Yes, there is a divine plan. Everybody is looked after by God. You are not the person who was looking after this world, whether your family, whether your wife or husband or children or your father and mother. You are only an instrument doing the duty of the Lord. It's God who is looking after everybody. So now, seeing that baby lizard getting a food as soon as it was born, and that too, they tell at the doorstep, here it is, at the mouth itself. The food came to the mouth by itself. So seeing that, a thought flashed in the mind of Sridhara that there is a divine plan behind the creation, and that every creature is provided for beforehand by the God. If you do, you'll get the benefit. If you perform your duty serving your parents, father, mother, children, wife, husband, then you get that benefit. If you do it with sevas to the Lord. If you don't do it, do you think that the world is waiting for you? No. The Lord has made all the arrangement beforehand. So there's a divine plan behind creation, and that every creature, it is low or high, a fly or a lizard or anything, is provided for beforehand by God. Now seeing that, Sridhara Swami's at once all his anxiety for his own child vanished, and immediately renounced the world. Of course, his baby was taken care of by his relatives. He made all that arrangement, but he went on for the higher purpose of realization of God. He became a great soul. He used to live in Kashi, Varanasi. He wrote that Bhashya. People were told it was not so orthodox. You didn't follow any Shankaracharyas or Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. That Bhashya, you are just written your own. How can that be true? The Pandits and the scholar rejected it. Then Shiva of Varanasi himself gave, if I know the meaning of Gita, Krishna knows it. Some people may know it, but after that, only Sridhara knows the meaning of Gita. That was told by Lord Shiva himself. That's why Sridhara Bhashya is very, very popular in India. So that was Sridhara. He gave up everything. After seeing that incident of the lizard, God has provided to the lizard as soon as it is born. Do you think God has not provided to my child? So he made little arrangements and he quit the world and became a sannyasin and went forward in the realization of God. That is the story of Sridhara Swami. And Subodhanandaji used to like that story. He very often narrated to those who came to him for guidance the following story of Sridhara Swami, the great saint and a commentator on Bhagavad Gita. So the commentary of that Sridhara Swami is very popular, Sridhara Bhashya. Swami Subodhananda's spiritual life was as marked by his directions as much as his external life was marked by its simplicity. Swami Subodhananda's spiritual life was as marked by his directness as much as his external life was marked by his simplicity. He had no philosophical problems of his own to solve. The ultimate reality was a fact to him because it is just like the Hastamalaka, so clear. You keep the Amalaka, the Indian gooseberry Amalaka in your hand. Everything is clear on the palm, isn't it? Should you somebody come and give you the commentary, everything is seen by you. So like that, for him, the reality, the truth, God was perception. You used to see, you used to speak, you experience God. So what is the need of philosophy? He had no philosophical problems at all for of his own to solve. Why? Because the ultimate reality, the highest Parabrahman, was a fact to him. Was a fact to him. He had identified with that. He had realized that. Whenever he would speak of God, one felt here was a man to whom God was a greater reality. Here was a man to whom God was a greater reality than one's own earthly relatives. So, what is your priority? Enjoyment, relatives, children, all these things, wife, husband? Accordingly, you get that. But if your priority is God, you get that. So for Subodhanandaji, priority was God and God alone. The ultimate reality was a fact to him. Whenever he would speak of God, one felt that he was a man to whom God was as greater reality than one's own earthly relatives. Subodhanandaji once said, God can be realized much more tangibly than one feels the presence of companions with whom one is walking. The form of his personal worship was singularly free from ritualistic observances. While Subodhanandaji was entering the shrine, he was not obsessed by any awe, have, or wonder, but he would act as if he were going to a very near relation. When you go to the mother, do you observe have, fear? No, you are so natural. You're just running happily to the mother. Likewise, when he used to go to the shrine, to the place of God, he was not obsessed by any fear, have, or wonder. Why? Because he knows God is my own. On the contrary, when he used to go to the temple or the place of worship or the pilgrimage, he would act as if he were going to a very near relation. And while performing worship, he did not care to recite the memorized text. His relationship with God was just as free and natural as a human relationship. He realized the goodness of God, and so he was always optimistic in his views. For this reason, his words brought cheer and strength to weary or despondent souls. Intellectual snubs intellectual snobs or philosophical pedants. Philosophical pedants were bewildered to see the conviction with which he spoke on problems that they had been unable to solve, their pride and arrogance notwithstanding. So those intellectual people, the scholars, the philosophers, they were bewildered to see the simplicity and the conviction of Subodhanandaji, and how the problems could be solved so easily, which they couldn't do in spite of all their intellect and scholarship. So that would humble their pride. You know that in the beginning itself, Subodhanandaji came from a well to do family. Once his relatives proposed sharing some of their family income with him because they are very wealthy, they had a lot of money. So some of the relatives, because he was a monk living on simple wants, so some of the relatives they proposed sharing some of their family income with him. They had a lot of money, wealth, but he declined to accept it. Why? He told them, I am an all renouncing monk. I don't need any money. Instead, please serve the poor and the mendicant with that money. So that was the advice of Subodhanandaji to his relatives. I am an all renouncing monk. I don't need anything. I don't need money or anything, but instead use that for the service of the poor and the mendicant with that money you wanted to give me. The disciples of Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated that there is no high or low in work. Work by itself is neither high nor low. Whatever work you do, you have to do it like worship to the Lord. So, all the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated, not only preached, not only gave lectures, but they demonstrated that there is no high or low in any work. Work is worship. Work is worship. Subodhananda would teach the new monks how to prepare betel rolls for the offering to Sri Ramakrishna in the shrine. With the help of the young boys, he would uproot the thorny bushes from the courtyard to teach them gardening. He was very methodical and punctual in his work. One day, the lunch bell was late. He went to the person in charge of the kitchen and learned that there was a special food offering for the master. So they have delayed the giving of the lunch bell. Now Subodhanaji said to that in charge, the master did not like to have his lunch after 12 noon. While Ramakrishna was leaving, Ramakrishna would always have his lunch before 12 o'clock. So the master did not like to have his lunch after 12 noon. So it is better to offer regular food to the master at the right time and then arrange for special food later. One day, Subodhananda performed the worship in the shrine. He did the puja. While he was offering the fruits and sweets, he was performing the worship to Sri Ramakrishna. What happened? While he was offering the fruits and sweets, Ramakrishna appeared before him and pointing to the sliced cucumber, he said, please add a little salt to the cucumber before offering. So like that, Subodhanandaji used to see God. He used to worship Ramakrishna in this fashion. So while he was offering, the Lord himself would come and take that. And he told, while the fruits were offering the cucumber, he told, add a little salt and give it to me. That was the intensity of his devotion and the way he worshipped. Though it was simple, but the Lord themselves used to come and receive that worship. So we will stop our conversation, the study of life of Swami Subodhananda ji. We will continue it on Sunday again. So until then, we will be thinking, we will be meditating the teachings, the life of Subodhananda ji, and get a lot of inspiration for our spiritual life. So if you have any questions, if you have any doubts on what we have discussed today, you can ask. Any questions? Any doubts? So no questions, no doubts. So we can conclude with the prayer. Om Priyatam Pundarikakshaha Sarvayagneswaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagattushtam Prenite Prenitam Jagat Harihi Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayanaya.